You have a life that most people would dream of. You have a life that you once wrote down as like the dream. And yet here you are, a little bit unsatisfied, and that's okay. Welcome back to the Stepping Into Yourself podcast. My name is Tori Stoffer, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about giving yourself permission. Permission to want more, to dream bigger, to go further, but just having the permission. So often, especially as women, we are told repeatedly to be grateful, which I totally listen. I am the first person who built an entire something on just gratitude alone. So I'm not saying to not be grateful, but it's okay to be grateful and still want more. And I think what happens is we get all the things we ever wanted, whether it's, we get married, we have the career we always wanted, we have the kids, we have the home, we have the friends, we have the life we wanted. And something feels like it's missing. And what's missing is us, right? Because in building all of that, we started living a life of should. And it was well intended, and it really took us far. But somewhere along the way, we lost who we are and what we actually wanted, right? So we did what we should be doing as a mom, what we should be doing as a wife, what we should be doing as an entrepreneur, or whatever it is you do, what we should be doing, what makes sense, instead of asking yourself, what do I want? And there's this thing that happens to women in their 30s and 40s where that wakes back up. And maybe it's that our kids are getting a little bit older and don't need us in the same way that they did. So we don't have to lose ourselves in motherhood or in family life. And not that that's not a priority. That's my biggest focus, right? And the past couple of years, the way I've chosen to reorient my life to be around for my family, but it's in a different way. It's in a way that still allows me to fill my cup and to chase my joy and to be the person I was meant to be. We have these goals and dreams and wishes when we're kids, and you ask a little kid in elementary school, what do you want to be when you grow up? And that eventually stops, right? And you get to college and it's not about what you want to be. For me, it was, my dad always said that I had to have a degree of substance. And listen, it was well intending, right? He wanted me to be able to build a career and make something of myself. So we always joked around that I wasn't allowed to major in underwater basket weaving, right? And so what I wanted to pursue in my heart was something more on the creative side, but it wasn't accepted, and I'm not being critical, because I totally understand where he's coming from, especially now as having adult children, where you're oh, but my dad is an immigrant. He came over on the boat when he was 11 years old, and he built himself to this insane level by working and putting his mind to something that he could grow. And he wanted the same thing for me, right? So it was always well intended. So I pursued something that made sense, right? I became a teacher. I got a degree in English, right? But here's the thing. When I left that career to wind up pursuing photography and doing that, that's when I became successful, right? And it's not because it made sense or anything. It's because I was following what was aligned. I was following what lit me up and what was on my heart and in my soul. And I really truly feel that when we get back in touch with that is when life blossoms for us in a way that we didn't know possible. 5 years ago, I was living in Philadelphia, and I had my photography career, and I was doing, newborn photography, but it had really fallen into doing what I should do because it made sense, because it was a really great business, and it was a great opportunity, and there was just an opening in that space for me, and I was insanely successful at it. But it wasn't, that genre wasn't what lit me up, right? And for me, again, I lived in this beautiful house with my amazing family, and yet I felt disconnected from my life, even though it was perfect. And then I got cancer. And cancer is what allowed me to burn it all to the ground, right? It's not very often that you will see somebody successful just be like, F it, I don't want this anymore. I want a totally different life. But we did that. And so when you go through something traumatic, nobody questions you when you do something like that, right? It makes sense. Like, the girl had cancer, she changed her whole life, it makes sense. So we up and moved to Florida. Not because, I mean, on paper, it's because my husband had a job opportunity. But if we're being honest, he had the job opportunity because he chased it. Because we decided one day that we wanted to live a different life. We wanted to, we were grinding. We were like grinding. And it was hustle, hustle, go, go, work, work. Like, that was the environment there. And that's not what we wanted anymore. We wanted to live happy. We wanted to raise our kids in a place where they came home from school and went out and played with their friends in the neighborhood all afternoon, right? We wanted more of what we kind of grew up with, and decided, like, let's do it. So I literally closed down a 6-figure business, moved to Florida, and trusted that it was all going to work out, right? And it has, like, even more than I could have ever dreamed possible. Like, the life we live now is insanely fulfilling and amazing, and the people that I've met and have in my life, and the business that I've built on passion, on what I wanted to do, on serving, it has lit me up. And this wasn't the intention, but it's been financially even better than what my old business was. But it was only possible because I gave myself permission. I gave myself permission to want more. And so today, that's what I want to give you, is if you are in that moment of, I have it all, I really do, I have it all, and why am I not insanely happy or fulfilled? And it's not that you're not happy. You can be happy and still feel that ping of, I just always thought there was going to be a little something more, right? It's okay that you need that. You need that to push you further. And maybe it's pushing you into this thing that happens to so many of us at this time in our life, of this awakening that we have. And so I invite you to awaken and to follow along with us, and to ask questions, and to learn how to tap into your highest self, because that's the version of you that has the answers, right? And we had it when we were younger, right? That version that wanted things and desired things, and it was also aligned, right? And as we grow up, there's just things that we have to adjust to. And so I'm giving you permission to listen, and to learn how to tap in and hear that inner voice, your highest self, your intuition, your guides, whatever. Listen and become the version of you that lives a life bigger and crazier and more amazing than your wildest imagination, because it's there. It's there for you. It's available. The question is, do you want it? Do you want to try? Do you want to step off this path of what is expected and just go for it? And here's the thing. Many people get to this point because something terrible in their life happens. They hit a rock bottom. They go through cancer. they lose something, their marriage ends. Something usually facilitates that readiness. But I'm telling you, you don't have to wait for it. You can let the curiosity and that inner nudge that I know you hear, I know you hear it, I know you feel the pull, you can let that be enough. And you don't have to let it be a dramatic thing that happens. So if you haven't yet listened to the episode on meditation, that's a great place to start. Or even better yet, go back to our second episode, which is what is the highest self, if you're not sure. But those two are great to start with. And as always, feel free to contact me, reach out, let's chat. I'm available for any questions, and I would love to be here and see you through your journey.